there were hundreds of people there, but one guy stood out because the guy was very skinny. Chandrana is not here, she's pretty. But he was sort of like that, you know, very tall and just like bones and skin. Yeah, something like that. And then in one point, you know, as if someone lit a stick of dynamite under his seat, he just like leapt up in the air, and I'd never seen anyone dance so ecstatically. Like he had no regard whatsoever for anyone around him, for any social customs. He just felt it, and you know, he expressed it. And then as he was doing that, it's hard to imitate. I'm almost tempted to show you what he was doing. I'll show you just one, which is more conservative. But he would, so he was leaping, he was leaping all the time. He would leap up, and then as he would go up, he would bring his legs up like this. Like this. And his hands were very fast. And I was wondering how could, I mean, you know, there are laws of physics. You go up, you know, if you throw something up, it takes time for it to come down. But it seemed to have been coming down faster than the laws of physics would allow. And it was doing it so fast for like a couple of hours, you know. It was in great shape. And more he was doing that, more I could see people just like saying to hell and just joining in. And I found myself there confronted, you know, like it was so attractive. It was wildly attractive. I just felt, oh, you know, this is what I want to do. I just want to explode here. But then, you know, I was feeling so socially conscious, you know, and then I was debating, should I do it, should I not do it? Well, everyone else is having fun, you know, and then more and more people were joining in. I was feeling more pushed to join in, but at the same time, my false ego was also growing and resisting the thing. So at the end, I
danced.
No. Oh. I blew it. I didn't join it. But almost everyone else did, and it was a wild experience. It was a really wild experience. I had a similar experience at in a village. Darn, wasn't even a village. It was just a structure, small, like a shrine with a little wall around, and a small pond where people will come and bathe and stuff. And they had a festival there, and the interesting thing was that wherever you looked, there was just nothing around, just the rice fields, wherever you looked, as far as your eyes could see. And then when the time came for the festival in the evening, there were thousands of people here. Mind you, only about 50 could fit in. And and then behind it, in the field, one of the yogis stood up. There's a lot of yogis, you know, with jata, you know, what you call them, dreadlocks. Yeah. And kopen, you know what the kopen is? Just the underwear, basically a piece of cloth wrapped around his loins, and that's all he had. His hair and his kopen, his ancient underwear. And he started to dance. And that was probably, the first guy was most ecstatic, the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. And this yogi was, I never seen anyone dance as gracefully and as intricately. As you watched him, you wondered what muscles to use to move your body in such a way. Like, for example, he'd be dancing, one hand would be doing one thing, his opposite leg would be doing something completely out of rhythm. He would support himself on the other leg, while the other hand would again do something totally weird. You know, and his neck would move, his head would move independently of the neck, his trunk was but it was beautiful, and very graceful, you know, and So we just chanted like this, Hare Krishna. We chanted from sunset till sunrise, so that's roughly about 12 hours. And he danced for about 6 hours, like that. And a couple hours into his dance, he started to invite people to join him in. And then different folks would try to dance with him and move the way he moved, but it was impossible. It was impossible. So what I was thinking is that I had this experience of kirtan, just pulling the soul out of the body. You know, the soul is encased in two types of bodies. You know, the gross body that we see, you know, the flesh, the bones, the blood, the hair, the makeup, whatever, clothing. That's the gross body. And then the subtle body is social concepts or maybe misconcepts, whatever. But, you know, social concepts that have built around the soul. So these two bodies, they encase the soul. And then my experience with the kirtan, nearly graphic and nearly always, is it just like jerks the soul out of the body, you know. It just puts it out there naked. And that was my inhibition that I experienced the first time with the wild dancer, because I felt sort of naked. You know, I felt unprotected, you know, that all of my gross and subtle coverings were being stripped away, and I was like, feeling sort of, what's the word, lacking confidence, you know, like, being all exposed. But at the same time, that was exactly what I was looking for, you know. And you know, we did kirtan throughout, for years I've been doing kirtan in many different places, and I always had this experience when the kirtan gets ecstatic, it just starts to peel away these coverings, you know, and then the soul starts to shine, you know, like the soul, the spiritual self, you know, behind all these coverings, happy as it is, you know, uninhibited by all this garbage, so to, excuse my Bengali. I remember I told you, 1 year, it was before there was a ban on alcohol on the beaches. On July 4th, we went down to the bay, and there was, God knows, there was hundreds of thousands of people there. And we found a little spot, you know, and we put our instruments on, we started to jam, you know, started to play our music. And then most people liked it, you know. Of course, many of them were half drunk, so that kind of helped loosen up, you know. That's why most people drink, I mean, you know, to feel like babies again, you know. Of course, socially, you're not allowed to feel or behave like a baby unless you're drunk. Anyhow, another story. That's social covering. And then one girl approached me, and I think I was playing the harmonium, and she was mostly undressed, and she asked me whether I was a monk. And the way she, of course, I mean, look at the way I'm dressed, you know, there, you know? And the way she told it, asked that question, I knew what the intentions were, you know. And I told her I wasn't. And she said, good, because then you're going to like this. And she started to dance in a very provocative way, like basically swinging her body around my nose. So I just closed my eyes and I continued jamming. In about 5 minutes I opened my eyes, you know, and that girl, like all those coverings that she started off with, you know, got peeled away. There was a soul shining through. She was just happily dancing and shouting Hare Krishna. You know? Not only her, but everyone around. Everyone got drowned. Everyone got drowned. And I have had this experience, God knows how many times. God knows how many times. Yeah, it's the spiritual experience we're all looking for in many things. And it can easily be brought about by kirtan. So kirtan is one of these spiritual practices that pulls the soul out of the body and lets you just be yourself, who you are. And more you engage in kirtan, more you absorb yourself in kirtan, more you stay on that platform. So you may become socially weird after a while.
Too late.
Like John.
Gotcha. Johnny, you're a freaking weirdo. We love our Johnny. Nice and nutty. Yeah, New Year's Eves, and I mean, and usually it appears more people are ready to reject their social coverings and other coverings, whatever, whatnot. More they get out of this experience. So sometimes even when people are drunk, works, you know. So next time you can all come to the lounge now. Or, you know, going to gatherings. I love to go to I used to go a lot to rainbow gatherings. Any rainbows here? Okay, yeah. Rainbow gatherings. Usually people that tend to go to such gatherings tend to be a little less socially inhibited like that and let themselves into the experience. Music, arts, festivals, like that. So that was a little bit about this thing called the kirtan.